A sporting letter from Mississippi, wherein something is said about the town of Tchula, field sporting, bear hunting, a brand dance, etc., etc. Tchula, July 10, 1839. To the editor of the Spirit of the Times. However friendly you may be to Mississippi, and however much you may desire the restoration of the palmy days of her former prosperity, I can scarcely hope that a letter from a remote, undistinguished town on the borders of the great little Yazoo will receive your first attention or find its way into the columns of your superior paper. Yet I cannot resist the penchant I have to tell you how things look in Mississippi and speak of the many wild amusements which make our wilderness and swampy country as engaging to the true sportsman as any of the tip-top loftical fates that succeed each other in quick succession on sea and land contiguous to New York. The little town of Tchula is made up of rare boys, and they make the best possible use of nature's high endowments. It is now midsummer, navigation is suspended, and the silence of the wild wood is broken only by the crack of the rifle, the roar of the shotgun, the yell of the pack, and the dying splashes of countless fish. Our population makes a family of 17 gentlemen and 2 ladies to keep up civilization. We form a bachelor population, and every one of us is skilled in the loftier attributes of dignified loafing. Being acclimated, we are proof against frog ponds and rank swamps, and can revel amid a cloud of mosquitoes or an acre of snakes. The way we go to it among ourselves is every way compatible with the dignity of a gentleman and the flourish and excitement of a city circle. A bad currency and hard times have forced our citizens to remain in Tchula for 2 years, and knowing it is vain to kick after you have once put on fetters, we have become reconciled and converted the waste into a paradise of fun and joy. Our amusements are made up of all the varieties incident to healthy and manly sport. We can raise a lark by common consent of the town without parade or ceremony. We can stand upon our town bridge and blow daylight through a catalogue of fish while we fell the bounding deer on the other side of town. It is a rich treat to go upon the bridge and see the capital shots made to the death and disturbance of the fish family. Every man has his own particular gun, and every shot is followed by the audible shrieking of a dying alligator or the terrible commotion produced by an immense cat or an overgrown buffalo floundering in the agonies of sudden death. So thick are the fish that you can follow the banks and secure a whopper with every pitch of a gig. A party of 5 went out a few nights since, lighted by pine knots, and in the short space of 2 hours gigged 11 barrels. Let no man sneer and cry fish story, for of such is the waters of the Yazoo. At midday the surface of the river in front of the town is fairly black with fish baring their backs to the rays of a scorching sun. There is a lake in the rear of the town which is covered in the fall and winter with ducks, geese, and crane. Enough of either of these can be secured for our whole population by a single shotgun in a few hours. So plentiful is the game that we scarcely invade the peace and propagation of our cattle and hogs. Turkeys are very abundant and easily taken. The sandhill crane, a large and excellent bird, is also common. The proud eagle is frequently seen, but we are too much Americans to destroy them, the majestic emblem of our nation, should ever soar free from danger and be an object of the loftiest pride to our countrymen. The partridge and squirrel are seldom hunted, for why disturb the proud covey and nut-loving family, when on every side you may bleed the fallow deer and stop the invading and destroying march of that fatter, bigger, and sweeter doge of our forest called the bear. Perhaps you would like to know something of a Mississippi bear hunt, or in more significant phrase, of a Tchula bear hunt, for Tchula is after all a conspicuous place, She rolls out 12,000 bales of cotton and is located just in front of the richest island in the Mississippi Valley. I mean Honey Island, the same place where Honorable Franklin E. Plummer, ox driver and ex-member of Congress, distinguished himself by breaking wild bulls and fattening on bear oil. Well, speaking of the bear hunt, we can while away a few tedious hours with refreshed energies by crossing the river to Honey Island and starting a pack of fight-fast and hold-on dogs. A few days since, all the town and half a dozen visitors joined such a chase. Early after breakfast, arrangements for the hunt commenced. Here you might see one grinding his rusty bowie knife, there another cleaning out an enormous Jaeger, some casting balls, other adjusting buckskin apparel, while the experienced hunter stood calmly by, eyeing with roguish glance the various preparations and laughing at the ardor of the various parties. The group was rather a motley one. There was the dandy northern doctor, who, having no men to kill, was determined to stick to his profession and murder Bruin. There the lawyer, with a quick hand and steady eye. There the merchant, brandishing his murderous cane knife and telling how he would plunge it into the woolly sides. But I spare you the balance of the description, and proceed to the scene of action, accompanied by all the town dogs of whatever name and race, from the surly bull to the curled and essenced spaniel. Arrived at the edge of the canebrake, we dismount, secure our horses, inspect our arms, and plunge into the dense mass of long, stiff, naked cane stalks, so thick you can hardly run your arm up to the elbow into it. Imagine the dismay of the tyro in the sport. But all were too far committed to play crawfish, and at it they went, every one carving out his own road. Soon is heard the full burst of discordant notes from the mongrel pack. He's up, follow who can, and devil take the hindmost. Away they run, and the sport began to be devilish hot work. Wait for me, cries one who happens to be behind. Wait, the devil? Do you suppose I'm going to be left in this infernal wilderness waiting for you? Oh, cries another, there's a cane stalk an inch into my leg. Cut that vine off my throat or I shall die before my time. There he is, boys. The dogs have him at bay. Now for it. All rushed up, eager for the fray, when lo and behold, our ill-trained pack had started a cow, and but for our timely arrival would have soon pulled her down. After a few moments and a long pull from the canteen which hung from the side of each hunter, the dogs were again cast out, and we followed with footsteps somewhat dispirited from our late disappointment. Very soon there was another burst from the dogs, and off we put. This time 'twas no false alarm, and after running for about 2 miles through the cane, we, that is the rider and the Negro named Tony, came upon him seated on his broad backside or end, standing at least 5 feet and brandishing his huge paws with a look which seemed to say, "Come on, boys, and if I don't give you a bellyful, then eat me." I sprang upon the trunk of a prostrate tree, and smack into my eye ran the end of a fallen cane stalk. Bang went Tony's gun, and away went Bruin, with the whole pack at his tail, right around into the trail by which we had approached. "Here he comes!" shrieked the frightened voice. Sauve qui peut, every man for himself, was the word. And down went the guns of the 2 foremost, and they broke for a sapling. Bruin, mortally wounded, sprang over one of the hunters and fell dead, with the whole party, dogs and all, on top of him. Shouts long and loud proclaimed our victory. One more long pull from the canteen, and then to devise ways and means to get his muddy carcass to our horses. Skin him and cut him into 6 100-pound pieces and carry them on our shoulders was the order of the day. In the plain road any man could easily carry 100 pounds, but where every step is impeded by the cane it is no joke. However, after many long rests, we reached our horses. I made my injured eye an excuse to avoid my share of the carrying trade. We reached home just at night, an over-delicious steak from his fat rump, and a dozen of choice Madeira, we fought our battle o'er again. Thus it is with the Tchula boys in a bear hunt. The bear is very numerous on Honey Island, and it is with difficulty that corn sufficient to supply the plantations can be raised. They have been known to destroy a field of 50 acres in 2 or 3 nights. They have great system in their invasion upon our cornfields. They cut down about a half an acre and gather it together in a pile, when they seat themselves and eat at their leisure. Their system and sagacity can only be equaled by the revenge we take out of their corn-fed hides before they retire to winter quarters. They are equally destructive on our hogs. When hungry, they will master our largest grunters with the same facility that a tiger would. I might write you a lengthy paragraph on wolf hunting and panther shooting, but I'll leave that to the prairies and the tall woods of the Northwest. You must understand, however, that there are plenty around us, and that we have our own fun in giving them the devil. With us, the question is not yet settled whether there is more sport in a wildcat or a fox chase. The cats of this country are very large and run as beautifully as our English fox. It is a common thing with the planters about here to catch half a dozen foxes and the same number of wildcats before breakfast. Our sports are various, surpassingly exciting, and every way manly. The neighborhood of Tchula is rich and polished, and whenever our boys have no hunts nor larks on the register of duty, they hitch up their buggies and drive into the hills edging the Yazoo Valley, where they find hospitality and beauty rivaling each other. Our ladies are not very numerous, but what we have are splendid. The 4th of July was celebrated by the Tchula bachelors and neighboring planters with a brand, dance, and barbecue. I need not tell your readers what a barbecue is, for I believe they all know it means a good dinner cooked in the woods near some noted spring. A brand dance is very similar to the early custom of dancing on the green. Everyone present was reminded of the halcyon days of their youth by the magnificent display on the 4th of July in the Yazoo Valley. If you publish this, let the world know Mississippians are not barbarians, and that they are not yet lost to the impulse of patriotism and a high sense of the obligations due their country and society. A note from the editor. The author of this epistle would have been recognized had he not sent his name. We are gratified to find him so pleasantly situated. Will he be kind enough to remember us to the friends named in the private note accompanying his communication, and believe that the columns of the Spirit of the Times are ever open to him and to them? Signed, Editor.